Hey, what's up guys, it's TBone here and welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. It's Christmas today and I wanted to wish everybody a happy holiday. We wrapped up our gathering early, so I had some time to do a preview video, and it looks like there are some interesting news today. First, Reforge is now available. Sentinels of Stars and Astral Martyr, both pretty old cards, can now be reforged to have the updated stats as the new Light Commander cards. I'll be showing what that looks like later. The second thing is the fact that now for the second straight event, the first tier of the support pack will no longer have a chance for an ultra rare card. Instead, you now get a 1/4 chance to pull Sugar Plum Fairy, Orsang, Sensha, or Scheherazade. Personally, I think this is a terrible change. Orsang is an okay card to pull, but Sensha and Scheherazade are already available in the 20 Dust Shop, and they aren't even part of the collection heroes. It makes the value of the 300 gems on the first tier go way down and reduces my incentive to want to spend on it. I really hope that they take away this change. And now, as far as the cards go, if you count the updated Reforged cards this event, there are 6 cards total with different mechanics to go over, so let's take a look now. Let's start with the main event card, Steadfast Nutcracker. It looks similar to Evelyn, the Earth Slayer for the event that just passed, with the ability to create 4 Light Power Gem once and will deal nuke damage for 3 turns. The overall nuke damage is lower at 120,000%, but does have a high cooldown of 6 turns. To me, the 6 turn cooldown makes this a bit less attractive of a card for me. I say that because it takes a lot more catalysts to fully evolve an event card compared to a support card or even an ultra rare card. With a 6 turn cooldown though, you can only use it twice in 7 turns, assuming you can power up on turn 1. Compared to other cards with a really high cooldown rate, this card is a lot weaker in comparison. You're really only just going to be using this card for its increased damage output, so this is not a card I would go out of my way to obtain multiple copies of. Next is the Master Collection card, Innovator Drosselmeyer. It's a pretty straightforward card to use. It creates 6 Power Gem 4s every 4 turns. It's a lot easier to use compared to Alfonso, but it's got a higher intensity cost. Each time you want to use the battle skill of the Innovator, you will need to have at least 50 intensity. It sounds like a lot, but in the last event, with 2 support cards and a single relic, I was able to get 25 intensity every time I attack, so pairing him with a support card will be the best way to get the most out of this card unless you get multiple relics. I like this approach. I think the tweaks with using some intensity cost to activate battle skills are a good direction, compared to forcing cards to be unusable for 6 turns, let's say like Aswan for example. So I like the direction of this card, and I would like to see where we go moving forward with this type of approach. Now it's the support card, Sugar Plum Fairy. It also has a 4 turn cooldown and creates 6 light gems just like Rudolph from the previous event. But instead of heal, it will decrease damage taken by 20% for 2 turns. The damage reduction skill does stack, which means if you have multiple copies of the card, you'll take even less damage. I can't remember exactly how it stacks, but I don't think it would purely be additive. So if you have 5 support cards, for example, I don't think you will have 100% damage reduction for 2 turns, but I could be wrong. I think it's more likely that each additional reduction is applied to the remainder of the damage. So having 2 support cards will reduce damage by 36% instead of 40%. This is also one of the only 2 cards that can create intensity through attacking to help power up the Master Collection card and your ultra rare card. The ultra rare card, Sweet Savior, has another mechanic that is both new and old. This time it creates 3 Power Gem 2s and then places the exposed debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. When the exposed debuff is applied to the enemy, they will take additional damage. The cap is at 30% additional damage when your intensity is at 300. The percentage starts at 7.5% and then goes up by another 7.5% every 100 intensity. Now if you're familiar with the water creature card Farah, it works very similarly, and it's actually a very effective mechanic. If you think about it, the damage you deal is already increased by 10 times through the Empowered Affinity bonus, and then you take the entire damage amount and increase that by 30%. This card will make a difference to your deck if you're looking for even more damage output. Again, not a required card by any means, but is a good card if you get it. Now, before we look at the details of the cards you can reforge, let's see how you can actually reforge the cards Sentinel of the Stars and Astral Murder. There's a reforge button once your card is at 6 stars, and you can see that there are new catalysts required as well, Light Reforged Stone and Commander Reforged Charm. Both of these can be earned through the Ultra Kill collection. In terms of the battle skill changes, This one is quite good actually. The original card converts 1 dark gem to a light gem, and will convert 4 total dark gems if there are at least 30 technological intensity. After reforging, it will simply convert 4 dark gems without any other requirements. It also both passively increases intensity each time you attack, and also increases the intensity through its battle skills, so it's a very good card to increase your intensity amount without relics. Finally, there is Astral Murder. It's a pretty powerful card in its original state. It creates 2 Power Gem 4s and creates 2 additional if there are at least 100 technological intensity. It's also a nuke card and can deal 100,000% damage. It has only 3 turn cooldown too, so with the exception of the empowered attribute, this card is by far more superior to the Nutcracker. And unfortunately, after reforging, the battle skill is weakened to only creating 2 light Power Gem 2s and destroys up to 16 non-light gems. So you lose the Power Gem 4s, and the card becomes a halfway effective gem destroyer. This one is super tough for me. In the end, the choice is up to you, but I think if you want to use this card as a way to support your other light commander cards, you can keep it as is. But if you do reforge, then this card will be able to deal a lot of damage on its own. I haven't yet decided on whether I will reforge my copy of the Astral Martyr. We'll see what happens later. And that's all for today's episode. This deck interestingly does not have any elements of heal, so we'll have to see how it works against Legend Trial bosses. I do like the Master Collection hero. I have saved up enough runes to hopefully craft a second one if I am lucky with my first set of rune pulls, and I will be looking to reforge my Sentinel stars for sure. I'm not as excited about the event card and the support card this event, so we'll see how things go. As always, thanks for watching, let me know your thoughts and feedback, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.